This is the story of a man named Daniel. I am going to tell you what happened to him one cold, dark night during his night shift. It's something that will send chills down your spine. Listen carefully, because you may never look at working late the same way again. Daniel worked as a security guard at an old hospital that had been partially abandoned. Half of the hospital was still functional, but the other half, the older section, had been closed for years. It was rumored to be haunted, but Daniel never believed in ghosts or anything supernatural. He was just there to do his job, watch the security cameras, patrol the empty halls, and make sure everything was in order. That night, it was colder than usual. The wind howled outside, rattling the windows. The fluorescent lights in the security room flickered now and then, making the atmosphere even eerier. Daniel sipped his coffee and stared at the monitors, watching the live footage from different cameras around the hospital. Everything seemed normal until he noticed something strange on one of the screens. A door in the abandoned section had swung open by itself. He squinted at the screen, thinking it must have been the wind. But then, he saw something move in the darkness beyond the door. A shadow. It was too tall and thin to be a person, and it moved in a way that sent a shiver down his spine. He shook his head and tried to ignore it. Maybe it's just a glitch in the camera, he muttered. But deep down, he knew something was off. He grabbed his flashlight and decided to check it out. After all, it was his job. As he walked through the silent hospital corridors, his footsteps echoed around him. He reached the old section and stepped inside. The air was thick with dust and smelled of decay. Old hospital beds, covered in white. Sheets lined the halls, and the flickering emergency lights cast eerie shadows on the walls. Daniel's breath came out in small clouds due to the cold. He moved cautiously, shining his flashlight around. The door that had opened by itself was now slightly ajar. He hesitated for a moment, then pushed it open wider. The room was empty. Just old chairs and a broken gurney. Just as he was about to turn back, he heard it, a whisper, soft, distant, yet somehow right beside him. It was so faint that he thought he imagined it. But then, he heard it again. "Help me." Daniel froze. His heart pounded in his chest. The voice was weak, almost pleading, but there was something unnatural about it. It sounded wrong. He swallowed, hard, and shone his flashlight down the hall. The beam of light caught something, a figure, a woman in a hospital gown standing at the far end of the corridor, her face hidden by her long dark hair. Daniel felt his blood turn to ice. "Ma'am?" he called out. "Do you need help?" The woman didn't respond. She just stood there, unmoving. Daniel took a cautious step forward. "Ma'am, you're not supposed to be here. Let me help you." Before he could finish, the woman twitched. Not moved, twitched, like a puppet whose strings had been pulled too hard. Then, without warning, she let out a sharp, distorted scream that echoed through the empty halls. Daniel stumbled back, his flashlight shaking in his hand. The woman jerked forward, her movements unnatural, like something broken trying to move. Her head snapped up, revealing her face, pale, hollow eyes with black tears streaming down her cheeks, and a twisted, unnatural grin. Daniel ran. He sprinted back through the abandoned halls, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He could hear her behind him, her bare feet slapping against the cold floor, faster than should be possible. He didn't dare look back. He just kept running until he burst through the door into the main hospital section. The moment he crossed the threshold, the noise stopped. The air was still. The hospital was normal again. No screaming, no footsteps. No woman. Daniel stood there, panting, trying to catch his breath. He turned slowly, peering back into the old section. There was nothing. Just darkness. Shaking, he made his way back to the security room, locking the door behind him. His hands trembled as he rewound the camera footage, needing proof that what he saw was real. But there was nothing. The footage showed him walking into the abandoned section, but the door never opened by itself. The woman was never there. It was as if it had all been in his head. But Daniel knew the truth. He had heard her. He had seen her. And he had felt the terror of something that wasn't human chasing him through those halls. He quit his job the next morning. But the scariest part? A week later, the hospital staff found fresh footprints in the dust of the abandoned section. Bare footprints, leading from the very room Daniel had entered that night. And they didn't belong to him.